Everyone strives to be a good person in their life, but defining what it means to be good can be a complex endeavor. Being a good person often involves qualities like kindness, honesty, integrity, and compassion. However, these attributes are just the surface of a deeper, more philosophical exploration of virtue and morality. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, offers profound insights into the essence of goodness and how one can cultivate it in daily life. Stoicism teaches us that being a good person is not just about our actions towards others, but also about our inner character and resilience. It emphasizes the importance of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance as the cardinal virtues guiding our behavior. According to Stoic principles, goodness comes from living in accordance with nature and reason, focusing on what is within our control and maintaining a state of equanimity in the face of life's challenges. This journey towards becoming a better person is not about achieving perfection, but about continuous growth and striving to live a life of virtue. By embracing Stoicism, we can learn to navigate our emotions, thoughts, and actions in a way that contributes to our well-being and the betterment of those around us. Let's delve into how Stoicism can guide us in this endeavor, offering practical strategies for self-improvement and a deeper understanding of what it truly means to lead a good life. How do you become great? Picture yourself not just hoping to be great, but actually being great. Now, picture Marcus Aurelius as a Roman emperor who was very powerful, but also had problems like everyone else. His story doesn't just tell about the past, it shows us how we fight today. Neither Aurelius nor I were born wise or brave. Like you and me, he had to work hard to develop these traits through life's chaos. This is about real success, not the kind you are born with, but the kind you earn one step at a time. How did Marcus do it? Through the philosophy of Stoicism, which teaches us how to control ourselves, not other people. Today, we're going to talk about not only his life, but also how you can use these timeless lessons to get through your own problems. Are you ready to find out how these old ideas can help you reach a level of greatness that is uniquely yours right now? 1. Strive for excellence. People often think of Marcus Aurelius as smart and strong, but he wasn't always a model of Stoicism. Being great was something he did every day, an unending quest for achievement. The lesson for us is that being great is not a gift, it's a choice. Every morning, when the sun comes up through your window, you have to decide what to do. This morning, you can either roll back into bed or get up with a plan. If you choose the second option, like Marcus did, you'll start your journey to excellence. How can we use this in our everyday lives? It's not about climbing mountains every day. It's about making small decisions like choosing to listen more and speak less, being patient in traffic instead of getting angry, or focusing on the job at hand instead of getting lost in social media's never-ending scroll. These decisions may not seem important at first, but they add up. Like Marcus, we don't become great all at once. Instead, it takes small, steady steps that lead us to greatness. Accept this trip and realize that every day offers a chance to improve yourself. 2. Spend every day thinking. Making daily reflection a habit is like holding up a mirror to your inner world. It shows you facts and insights that you might miss in the busyness of everyday life. It's not about writing down what happened during the day. It's a trip of self-reflection and a quiet talk with oneself. Imagine that at the end of each day you took a step back and looked deeply into your feelings, thoughts, and experiences. Not just telling what happened, but also going deeper and asking why you responded the way you did, what made you feel that way, and how your actions are in line with your core values. It means looking for trends in the way you act, figuring out what sets you off, and knowing your skills and flaws. Not only does this daily practice change your awareness, it changes your whole being, leading you to live your life with more thought and care. This habit is easy for everyone to pick up and has deep meaning. You only need a few quiet moments to think about yourself, and no special tools or conditions. Find a time that works for you, whether it's before bed or first thing in the morning. Being honest and open with yourself is more important than writing a great book. This practice is beautiful because it is easy and has the power to change things. You'll notice a change over time. Your thoughts and actions will become clearer, your values will become more in line with them, and you'll have a better understanding of the world around you and yourself. If you think about things every day, you'll not only get through life, you'll learn the art of living. Third, let people be who they are. Life gives us a lot of different actors, and each one plays a different role in the big story of life. Marcus Aurelius, who was a master of Stoic thought, knows this and decided to accept things as they are instead of getting angry. We can all use a change in mindset in this busy world of ours. When you meet someone who makes you mad, take a moment to breathe. Instead of getting annoyed or angry, think of them as important parts of the variety of human experience. It's like a puzzle. Every piece fits, even the ones that don't seem to go together at first. Accepting someone doesn't mean you agree with or excuse their behavior. It just means you see their place in life as a whole. This way of doing things has a quiet power. It frees you from the tiring loop of judging and getting angry. Think about how much mental room and energy you'd have back if you stopped battling every difficult personality you meet. When you accept people as they are, you're not agreeing with what they do. You're letting yourself stay at peace inside, no matter what's going on outside. Choosing to put your inner peace ahead of problems in the outside world is not passive. It's a choice. Remember that you, like everyone else, have more than one job to do. Just as someone else's behavior might be hard for you, it might be hard for them to deal with yours. This understanding of each other builds kindness and care. It serves as a strong warning that we're all managing this complicated world together with our own unique traits and habits. Accepting these different kinds of people not only makes you more accepting, but it also helps you learn more about what it means to be human. This habit, which comes from Stoicism, has been used for a long time to help people grow and find peace in a world that is always changing. 4. Don't make complaints. Let's say you're in traffic, running late for a meeting, and your phone keeps ringing. It's simple to complain over and over, right? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic ruler, taught us that whining, even in private, doesn't get us anywhere. Like yelling at the rain to stop, it doesn't change the weather and makes more noise. The next thing we should do is train ourselves to stop complaining before they happen. It's not about holding your thoughts inside, it's about using them in a healthy way. While you're stuck in traffic, listen to a podcast or make plans for the next day. Turn frustrating times into chances to learn and grow. Now, it's important to know the difference between complaining and doing something about it. It's not whining to ask for change, it's being responsible. Instead of focusing on the problem, work on a cure if something is wrong. Marcus Aurelius thought that problems should be dealt with directly rather than just being complained about. Asking yourself, what can I do about this? When you feel unhappy, is a powerful way to change your mindset. You go from just watching your life happen to being in charge of it. But the truth is that how we feel affects what we experience. A day full of complaints can make you feel heavy and more worn out. A day started with the goal of fixing problems, on the other hand, feels more satisfying and useful. The point is to make a choice. Stop yourself the next time you feel like complaining. Take some deep breaths. Try putting your energy into something good or helpful. A simple but powerful change can make a huge difference in not only your day, but also the way you live your life. Adopt this habit and see how it changes the way you deal with people. Yourself will be calmer, more focused, and ready to take on problems with a clear head. 5. Pay attention to what really matters. Imagine that your life is a messy room full of things that stand for your daily tasks, wants, and distractions. Let's get inspired by Marcus Aurelius and use his wise words to fix this mess we're in now. Simply put, cleaning up this room is the next step to becoming great. How, though? By always focused on what's important. Think about a day in your life. In the big picture of your life, how important is what you do? A lot of the time, we're overloaded with responsibilities and chores that don't really add much value, like those little things that get pushed to the back of the shelf and build dust. You should be strict and ask yourself, is this essential? Every time you're about to start something new. Being cold or heartless isn't the point. It's about value your time and effort. But here's the real trick. Something amazing will happen once you start getting rid of the things that aren't necessary. Your ability to focus on and do well at what's important goes through the roof. You're no longer a jack-of-all-trades, master of none kind of person. Instead, you're a focused person who is getting better at their skill, whatever that is. Now, when there are so many things to do, being focused is not only useful, it's a talent. You're not slacking off when you do less. You're just choosing where to focus your efforts to get the most done. Always keep in mind that saying no to something not important is like saying yes to something important. We need to make those decisions matter. 6th, show kindness and gratitude. Being grateful and having good character is like creating a board with shades of dark and then adding bright colors. That there is always something to be thankful for, a lesson to be learned, or a virtue to be improved, even when things are very bad. This habit isn't about ignoring how bad things are, but about looking for the bright side, no matter how small it may be. Beginning with thanks. Being thankful is simple when things are going well. It's hard to find reasons to be thankful when everything is going wrong. It's kind of like a game where you have to find secret riches in the dark. Appreciating a warm cup of coffee on a cold, rainy morning, or the comfort of having a friend who listens, could be all it takes. It's not about ignoring your problems. It's about changing how you look at them. In this way, you train your mind to be strong and tough no matter what life throws at you. Let us look at character. Being true to your ideals is a bold thing to do in a world that is always trying to change you into someone you're not. There are chances to show a virtue in every situation, whether it's honesty, courage, or kindness. Everything in life is like a game. Every task is a chance to show how good you are. Even if you don't win every time, each time you try, you get stronger, better, and more like the person you want to be. Remember that it's not about the praise or praise. It's about knowing that you're living true to yourself. So, as you go through life, make sure you paint it with the colors of thanksgiving and goodness. It might not be easy all the time, but it will be worth it. You can be your best self at any given time and make the ordinary into the extraordinary. You don't have to be as great as Marcus Aurelius to follow this habit. You can be great in your own way, one step at a time. 7. Learn new things all the time. Marcus Aurelius lived by an idea that will never go out of style. He was always trying to learn more. Picture this: an old ruler who is full of power but holds his tablets humbly as he walks off to learn from the philosopher Sextus. It's not just a piece of history. This scene has a strong lesson for us today. Our world moves quickly, and it's easy to get caught up in the race to succeed and forget that the only way to really grow is to keep learning. Imagine that every day is a new page in your own book of knowledge. It's not about getting degrees or awards. It's about keeping an open mind and a curious mindset. There are chances to learn every moment, whether you read a book about a subject you don't know much about, listen to a show that makes you think, or just ask serious questions in the people you talk to every day. Marcus's journey shows us that we can keep growing even as we get older or more successful. It's something we do all our lives. By making learning a way of life, you not only improve your mind, but you also develop a sense of respect that helps you stay grounded. Remind yourself that every step you take toward learning is a step toward becoming a better person. Like Marcus, let's try to be students for life, always eager to discover new things about what we know and how we understand it. Eighth, forgive yourself and other people. Not only is forgiving others and yourself a nice thing to do, it's also a powerful habit that can make your life better, just like Marcus Aurelius's did. There are a lot of choices, acts, and relationships in our lives today, like a jigsaw puzzle. Pieces don't always fit right. Sometimes they're pushed into places they don't belong. The power of forgiveness changes our story when we mess up or when someone else lets us down. Imagine that you slept in too late and are now late for a very important meeting. The old you might spend the day berating yourself, but the new you, driven by Stoic philosophy, recognizes your error, learns from it, and goes on. Next time, you might set 2 clocks. In this way, self-forgiveness takes away the weight of self-blame that often holds us down. In this case, you should treat yourself with the same kindness you'd show a friend. Though it's easy to stay angry and bitter, what good does that do? We can choose to let go of these bad feelings, just like Marcus Aurelius did when he saw the chance to forgive even when someone had betrayed him. This doesn't mean you agree with what happened or forget about it. Rather, it means you liberate yourself from the weight of resentment. Putting down a heavy bag that you've been carrying for a long time is like giving up. Out of the blue, you feel lighter, more flexible, and ready to face the day with a clear head and a light heart. Don't just forget because you want to be good. Do it because you want to live a more happy, meaningful life. 9. Do something about your ideals. Marcus Aurelius showed a strong truth. Great ideas must be lived, not just thought about. What does this mean for us in the busy world we live in now? It's about making what you do matter more. Of course, it's easy to say that you are kind, honest, or hardworking, but Marcus taught us that the real challenge is to actually live these traits every day. Being true to your ideas means making decisions that are in line with your values, even when it's hard. This is true whether you're a student, a worker, or a parent. Let us now talk about having an impact. You can make a difference even if you're not a ruler or a famous person. No matter how small, what you do makes a difference in the pond of life. You set a strong standard for those around you when you choose to be honest and kind. It's not about getting attention. It's about sticking up for what you believe in a quiet but strong way. Think about the fact that becoming a good person like Marcus is a process, not a goal. The goal is not to be great, but to get better every day. Take responsibility for your mistakes, learn from them, and move on. You can live a truly great life if you never stop working on yourself and putting your ideas into action. 10. Get your balance back. Sometimes life is like a dance, other times it's messy. This was known by Marcus Aurelius, a wise and stoic ruler. He preached resilience rather than perfection. Life is like music. We're not always in tune, but sometimes we are. That's living. What do we do when the beat stops? We get back into the groove. Self-discipline doesn't have to be harsh. It can be gentle, like when an artist tunes an instrument. If you miss a workout, you can watch it again the next day. Be mean to someone you care about, say sorry, and start over. What makes us unique is not the mistake we make, but how quickly we get back on track. He once said, "When you wake up in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." That's a call to welcome every day, no matter what mistakes you made the day before. We should be proud of being human and being able to get back to the flow of life. Every morning is a new chance, a new beat to the song we're already singing. Returning to rhythm is a habit that promotes resilience, joy in the trip, and the realization that living fully is the goal rather than perfection. Remember that it's not how you fall that matters, but how you get back up. You know how painful it is when someone you care about doesn't pay attention to you. They act like they don't care about how you feel and that you don't matter. Even though you love and care about them a lot, they never seem to pay attention to what you need. Why don't they respect and put you first? What if there was a way to change this? This video will show you 10 important rules that will help you become someone that people want to be around. Rule 1. Don't tell too many people about yourself and be a little mystery. It's fun to think that people don't know everything about you, and that can make you strong. As Seneca said, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. Let this be your guide. Be there, but keep some things mysterious, like a book with some pages you can't find. Allow people to learn more about you slowly and carefully. Slowly let them into parts of your life so they can become interested in you. This makes them want to figure out your personality like a puzzle, which makes them even more interested in getting to know you. Think about the well-known historical figure Cleopatra. She wasn't just pretty and strong, she was also secretive. She didn't tell anyone what she was thinking or why, which made them very interested in her. To get people's attention, do something unexpected, like going in a different direction through places they haven't been before. This will interest them and make them want to learn more about you. Just don't tell them everything about yourself at once. Let them explore and be a part of your trip. To put it simply, don't let everyone see everything about your life. Instead, picture your life as a book with many parts. Every chapter tells us a little more about the interesting person you are. Some people will want to know more about you if you keep some things about yourself a secret. The second rule is to make people afraid of losing you. Many times, people don't value things that are easy to get, but they do care more about things that they might lose. Put yourself in their shoes and imagine that they'd miss you a lot if you were gone. They see you as a very important choice, not just one of many. How are you going to make them feel that way? By being able to take care of yourself and living on your own. There is plenty of fun and happiness in your life, even without them. They want to be a part of your life because they see it as a unique chance and not something they expect. A philosophy that says you can control your thoughts, but not everything else around you is like this idea. When you understand this, you'll feel better. Having power comes from being on your own and having an interesting life. People will think of you as important, not just someone trying to get their attention. They will try hard to keep you in their life. They should be the ones trying to get your attention, not you. Why should you chase or beg for it? Make them a little scared of losing you. Make sure they want to be a part of your life and think you're important. Let's look at how Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak worked together the first time Apple was made. Wozniak was a great engineer who helped make the first Apple computers. These technology skills and creative ideas helped Apple get off the ground. Apple CEO Steve Jobs knew that Wozniak had unique skills and was crucial to their project. Jobs not only helped Wozniak with his work, but he also made it more famous. Wozniak wasn't just a partner for them when they worked together, he was very important. Jobs and Apple would have had a lot of trouble if he wasn't there. This demonstrates how important it is to recognize and value what each team member brings to the table, making yourself someone who no one else can do the job for you. Third rule, be happy for yourself. This means you have to believe that your own happiness is real. Being sure of yourself and able to do things on your own makes you more beautiful. You don't need other people to make you happy. You find happiness on your own. You look better when you're sure of yourself and happy being alone. People naturally want to be around people who are happy and sure of themselves. You become an inspiration to others when you find joy inside yourself. That you're not looking for someone else to make you happy, shows when you make your own happiness. You are already who you are and happy on your own. This sounds good because it doesn't put the responsibility of your happiness on other people. You want to make other people happy and make their lives better instead. This makes you very beautiful because you are full of good vibes and confidence, which makes people want to be around you. You can make yourself happy, as Seneca once said. True happiness is when you enjoy the present and don't worry too much about the future. Think about the past president. Even though he was dealing with a lot of issues, such as losing both his wife and mother on the same day, he knew how to be happy with himself. He was strong and busy, and he did things like box and help other people. His drive and happiness didn't come from what other people thought. That made him a well-liked boss. Even when things were hard, he could be happy and find value in himself. Because of this, he is an amazing historical person who shows how strong you can be to be happy on your own. Fourth rule, make yourself useful so that other people will want to invest in you. Know that you are unique and that other people should want to have you like a rare gem. Being there for someone doesn't make you valuable. Being an important and conscious part of their life does. Remember that people don't always value things that are easy to get. To really appreciate someone, you have to work at it and be dedicated. People feel more connected to you when they spend time, feelings, and energy on you. They care about you more than they used to, just barely like you. You shouldn't ask them for love or attention. Instead, it's to show that you add something worthwhile to their life that makes them want to be interested in you. They should choose to invest in you so that you become an important part of their life and they won't want to leave you. To make a precious stone shine, you have to rub it, and to make a person better, they have to face difficulties, said Seneca. This shows that your worth isn't just living, it's also being wanted and trying to get better. Think about the relationship between Alexander the Great and Aristotle, who taught him. The young prince didn't just learn from Aristotle, he saw him as a bright light of knowledge and smart thought, which was very important for running an empire. Alexander knew that Aristotle's lessons were very important because he was smart and determined. He worked hard and spent a lot of time learning from him. The connection between the student and teacher wasn't like any other. It was close, and the student saw the teacher as a treasure box full of knowledge. Alexander didn't find it easy to learn from Aristotle. Instead, he made it hard for him to become wise, which is why his lessons were so important to Alexander's success. Rule 5. Don't put someone above everything else in your life. Don't let one person take over your life. Picture yourself as a bright star in the sky, full of your own energy and light. You are on a different path than they are. Make sure they're not the center of your life. You have your own hopes, dreams, and ideas about who you are. They will find you more interesting and want to know more about your life, which will get them more excited. Your freedom and desire to try new things make the connection more interesting. You have to stay true to yourself and make each other's lives better. You become even more beautiful when you don't make them the center of your life. Having a life outside of the relationship helps you grow and gives your partner more freedom and energy. Marcus Aurelius, a wise emperor and philosopher, once said, "If you're at peace with yourself, you're in harmony with the world." This quote has something to do with the idea of staying single while dealing with relationships. Sir Isaac Newton was a great scientist who changed the way we think about the world. Let's look at someone from history like him. He worked hard and had a lot on his plate, but he still had a lot of hobbies, friends, and things he was interested in outside of work. He was good at his job and had a strong sense of who he was outside of work. He was not only a great scientist because of this, but also a well-rounded person. People respected him for being smart and independent. Being independent in your personal life and committed at work is a great example of how to live a happier, more healthy life. Rule 6. Put yourself first. In any relationship, This rule says it's very important to think about what you want and how you feel. Know how much you're worth at all times and stay away from places where no one values or treats you well. You know how important you are and will not settle for less than what you earn. You should never give up being happy and making yourself feel good, especially not for someone who doesn't treat you well. You show that you won't let anyone make you feel small or less important in a relationship by putting yourself and your happiness first. You are the same, and how you feel is very important. People aren't here to push you aside or make you feel good about yourself. Being respectful of yourself will help you have good relationships with other people. People will pay more attention to you if you stand up for yourself. This rule basically tells you that being happy and respecting yourself are very important things that you should always put first. It's about putting your own goals and dreams first. Marcus Aurelius said, "What really bothers people are not the things that happen, but how they think about them." This quote relates to rule number 6 because it shows how important it is to think about and deal with things in relationships. Roman leader Lucius Quinctius Cincinnatus has a story that you might want to think about. He was well known for being very smart in both the military and business. People tried to get him to do things for power, but he always stuck to his own morals and self-respect. This made him even more popular. He always stuck to what he thought was right. He went back to his simple farm when he wasn't needed as a leader. He didn't get involved in the hard stuff of politics. People who didn't share his beliefs kept him away. His story shows how important it is to put your own wants and values first. It also shows how important it is to respect yourself and take care of yourself in all areas of life. Don't always be prepared and waiting, according to Rule 7. You shouldn't be everywhere, just like the strangest and most special things shouldn't be everywhere. Know that your time is important and that you shouldn't give it to anyone who asks. Take care of yourself first. Picture a life where you don't have to wait all the time. Because of this, your whole life isn't focused on meeting other people's needs or wants. You have your own life to live and discover. Those who are lucky enough to be a part of it should be thankful. It's important to find a balance and not always be willing to give up everything for other people. Show that you value your time and care. Other people are drawn to people who have their own ideas and hobbies. People are interested in you when it's clear that you're not just hanging out. They start to think about what you're doing, which makes them want to be with you. You're not just anyone, you're an important person. Being open all the time makes it seem like they can have you whenever they want. You don't have to play games, you just have to show that your life is interesting with or without games. They learn to value the time you spend with them more when you're not always ready to drop everything for them. Don't feel the need to be available all the time. We often get scared for no reason, and we suffer more because we imagine things than because of what actually happens, Seneca said. This means that you should value your own time and thoughts instead of being afraid of losing out or being needy all the time. Ada Lovelace was a very smart and artistic woman. She wrote and did math, and she is famous for being one of the first people to program computers. Ada didn't follow the rules, even if she lived in a time when women were supposed to have limited jobs and be open to everyone. She instead focused on her work, doing hard math and working with well-known people like Charles Babbage. She was even more interesting and beautiful because she worked hard on her own projects and chose not to be available all the time. Ada's story shows how important it is to be yourself and how that can make people want to be around you. She didn't wait for other people to show her the way. She made her own way and amazed everyone with her fierce fire and intelligence. Rule 8. Don't always start the talk. This rule is about how to talk to each other in a way that is balanced. Know that being the one who starts talks all the time isn't always a good thing. It's good to let the other person lead sometimes. This shows that you're interested in other things besides them and it also lets you know if they're interested in you too. If you're always the one to start a talk, you might come across as too open. It's not about playing games, it's about making sure that both people in the relationship respect each other and work at it. In terms of conversation, this means not copying actions that can make things unfair or make you feel like people don't value you. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best way to get back at someone who did you wrong is to not act like them. It's about having self-respect and not needing attention or praise all the time. Rule number 9, don't fall emotionally too close. This rule is about how to bring out the best in your feelings as you try to become important to someone. It means making sure that your feelings don't take over the relationship and that your wants are understood and met. It's about finding the right balance between being honest about how you feel and keeping cool. Anger and sadness are important parts of who we are, but showing them too much can make us seem less important. Seneca said, "The best way to deal with anger is to wait." This is what rule number 9 is all about. It's about being patient and keeping our emotions in check. Rule 10. If someone doesn't treat you well, be ready to end the friendship. This rule is all about knowing how valuable you are and not letting anyone treat you badly. When you're with someone, you should be clear about how you want to be treated. If someone keeps breaking the rules, you have to be strong enough to move on, even if you feel bad about it. You're not being mean, you're just taking care of yourself. It shows that you care about yourself and won't let anyone hurt you. You send a strong message that things are serious by being ready to leave. This person may understand that they need to behave better towards you if they want to keep you in their life. Your goal isn't to stay in relationships that don't make you happy and confident. Instead, you want to build good relationships where both people respect each other. Having the strength to walk away when you need to is part of that. Alexander the Great said, "You can control your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that you can control your inner strength and self-respect, even when things aren't going well in your relationships with other people. We've discussed 10 important ways to make yourself memorable. Some of these are being mysterious, not being open all the time, letting other people invest in you, and putting your own needs first. How you talk to people should be just right, and you shouldn't make their whole life about you. You look better when you take care of your own happiness and emotional health. Always remember how important it is to value yourself and be ready to end relationships that aren't good for you. It's not about getting praise, it's about making relationships that are healthy and polite. By following these rules, you'll become someone that other people want to value. Remember that you have the power to make choices in your life, including the choice to leave if you ever feel like you're just a possibility. People who see and respect that about you should know how valuable you are. Imagine that only a few people know about a secret, the power of detachment. This secret leads us on a trip that tests our core beliefs. Doesn't it seem controversial? Most people think that connection means love and care, but I'm going to tell you something that goes against what you might think. Detachment can be the key to a happier and healthier life. Doesn't that sound impossible? After that, get ready for a shocking reveal. Now it's my turn to show you the less traveled roads of emotional and material detachment. I will show you psychological practices and points of view that may seem to go against each other, but are necessary for your emotional health and personal growth. In a strange way, the first step on the road to detachment is a step back, wanting a time of separation, not to make a whole, but to gain perspective. Think of yourself at a party where everyone is talking and the music is loud. It can be hard to tell what a friend is whispering in this situation. Just like the noise at a party can make it hard to think straight, when we are too involved with someone or something, our feelings can get worse. When you take a step back, It's like leaving that loud place and going to a quieter one where you can enjoy your own company and think more deeply. Seneca, a philosopher with deep thoughts, said that going back to oneself was very important. It's not just a matter of space. This return is also about mental and emotional distance. When our feelings get in the way of our judgment, stepping back lets us enjoy them like a spectator watches clouds move across the sky, knowing that they are not us. This detachment is not the same as indifference. It's a way of looking at things and our responses without bias, like we're looking at the whole game and not just the piece we're holding. It's not always necessary to separate oneself in a country town, as the Stoics recommended. Sometimes it's enough to just silence your phone, go for a walk, or sit in silence in a room. The most important thing is to find a place where the constant noise of normal life doesn't drown out your ideas and feelings. During these quiet times, we learn how to make choices based on reason, deep reflection, and our own inner knowledge, rather than sudden emotional responses. This backstep is your power tool. Get into a place where you can breathe easily and see past the fog of the present. The second step in detachment is to think about why you need space in a logical way. Distancing yourself from someone is not a hasty choice, but the result of careful thought, which is a sign of Stoicism's knowledge and virtue. Think of your life as a boat trip, with individuals representing the winds and currents. Some of these will help you sail smoothly, while others could send you into rough water. It is very important for the captain of this ship to know which winds to favor and which storms to avoid. This choice is not a getaway. It is a planned change in the direction of your life that is in line with your ideals and well-being. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who rose from being a slave to becoming a wise man, said that it is important to choose relationships that are in line with who we are. When you look at your relationships as windows, you can see what they show you: peace, growth, and understanding, or doubt, pain, and stress. Deciding to be detached is not the same as giving up something. It's a choice you make to protect your own morals and ethics. Stoicism doesn't support cold logic. Instead, it supports knowledge that makes us think about what people bring to our lives, harmony or disharmony. When you think about this choice, remember what Epictetus said: "What bothers us is not what happens, but what we think about what happens." The decision to separate yourself from someone is not just about that person, but also about how you see them affecting your life. They might show an exciting new part of your growth, or a side note that takes you off track. In the end, choosing to be apart is a way to make your life a story you are proud of. It means swearing to stay true to yourself, your beliefs, and your journey. Stoicism teaches us to value relationships that make our stories better and to politely stay away from those that don't. Building a life where every person and event is carefully chosen is not the point. The point is to make a story that has real meaning and resonance. Talking to someone you trust is the third step on this path to detachment. When life seems like a puzzle with pieces that don't fit together, it's time to look to Stoic advice for help. Although great thinkers are strong, their resilience also shows how important relationships are. Having someone you can trust is like finding an anchor in the storm. This exchange is more than just a stream of consciousness. It brings insight and new points of view. Having someone help you find your way when you don't seem to be able to figure things out on your own is like having a co-pilot on your life journey. Seneca, who had a deep knowledge of people, thought that giving information was important. He thought of a friend as a mirror that shows not only how we look, but also our inner selves. This exchange isn't just a reflection of who we are. It's also a way to figure out where we're going. When we open up to someone, we're not just talking. We're letting them into our inner world and showing them how we feel and what we think. Sharing makes a place for understanding and support, where people can share their grief and gain useful insights. It's important to carefully think about who to trust and choose someone who stands for the values we hold dear. This person helps us figure out our feelings and thoughts by echoing them back to us. Their job isn't to solve our troubles. Sometimes all they need to do is listen. Their presence helps us remember that we are not alone on this path. As you share your thoughts, the person you're talking to may reveal little gems of knowledge in their words, truths that shed light on different points of view. Stoicism teaches us that the hardest things in life can be dealt with in peace and with the help of a close group of people. Your friend is an important part of this group, which shows that power often comes from working together. Getting away from someone or something doesn't mean giving up everything that makes us human. In fact, these relationships with other people are what give us the power and clarity we need to find our way through the complex fabric of life. You find real bridges to clarity and bases to help you navigate the changing seas of life in talks with this trusted person that go beyond simple small talk. Setting limits for our feelings is the fourth step toward detachment. It's like being at the head of a ship during a storm, where the emotional waves are powerful and occasionally crushing, when strong emotions rule the emotional landscape. The idea behind Stoic teaching is not to avoid these waves, but to learn how to move through them with skill and wisdom. In other words, we need to know when to let the waves take us and when to keep our hands on the ship's controls. Having emotions is a normal part of being human, but if we don't set clear limits, they can get in the way. The skill is being able to feel these feelings without letting them take over. Because Epictetus had a deep knowledge of the human spirit, he tells us that what matters is not what happens, but how we understand it. This knowledge is very important for setting emotional limits. It's like having a guardian in our minds who accepts our feelings as guests, but doesn't let them take over our inner space. For instance, when we're angry, we know it's there and why it's there, but we don't let it control our actions or feelings. To define our feelings is to talk to them, figure out what they're for, and guide them so they don't get in the way of our reasoning. In real life, setting these limits might mean giving yourself time to feel a certain feeling. We can say to ourselves, I'm going to let myself feel this frustration right now, but then I'm going to focus on finding a solution. This doesn't mean ignoring the feelings, it just means holding them in check. It takes a lot of balance, like a tightrope dancer who knows they're in danger but keeps their eyes on the rope. When we do this, we honor our feelings without holding them hostage. We feel, we understand, and then we guide them back to a place of peace and reason. Emotions aren't being pushed down during this process. They're being managed and kept in check. The fifth and most important step in the detachment process is to carefully think about what might happen as a result of the split. When we come to a fork in the path of detachment, it's important to stop and look at all of the options. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of careful reflection rather than encouraging quick choices. Think of each road as a possible future with different results at each turn. What are you going to find on the path of distance? Will it be growth, peace, and a stronger sense of who they are, or regret and a wish for what they left behind? This practice in planning isn't about accurately guessing the future. It's about being smart about how you prepare for it. Marcus Aurelius, who was ruler and had to run a huge kingdom, used reflection on the past to help him plan for the future. This is similar to the Stoic philosophy of using the past to help you make decisions about the future. Think about the times you separating yourself and evaluate what happened. Did it help you see things clearly and calmly, or did it make you feel alone and full of regret? Think back on the past and use what you've learned to help you find your way in the future. It's also important to think about how your choice will affect other people. Stoicism helps us find a balance between our own wants and the needs of others. When you separate, ask yourself if this action will help you grow as a person and make other people's lives better, or if it could hurt others or lead to mistakes. This step isn't just about looking out for yourself. It's about making sure that your well-being fits in with the bigger picture of our lives. It's like going carefully through a yard, making sure that your steps help the plants grow instead of hurting them. From a Stoic point of view, detachment is an act of careful understanding, a choice that takes into account not only the self, but also the complicated web of relationships that bind us all together. Giving yourself a break from social media is the sixth step on the path to detachment. Think of your mind as a calm lake. Now, picture social networks as raindrops that are always making that smooth surface rough. Every update, alert, and contrast is like a drop in the lake that makes it less peaceful. This philosophy, which comes from a time before computers and the internet, gives us timeless advice on how to deal with these kinds of distractions. Seneca might have seen social media as a modern source of countless pointless distractions, especially during the detachment process, when he thought about how short life is. This step is about taking back our time and attention and deciding where to put our important energy on purpose. People want our attention more than anything else on social media. By staying away from them, we're not only escaping a digital flood, but we're also giving our brains a chance to rest and think. It's like drawing the curtains to block out the noise of a busy street. The noise stays, but for a moment, it's not what we're paying attention to. In a serene setting that encourages reflection and comprehension, you find yourself. It's not a getaway to take a break from social media. It's an act of self-care that helps us figure out what makes us stronger and what makes us weaker. During this pause, pay attention to the transformation in your mental state. You may feel calmer, more present, and more aware of your own feelings and thoughts. To be a Stoic, we must be self-aware enough to know what we can control and let go of what we can't. Let's not forget that we can't stop the rain, but we can find a place to hide and enjoy the sound of the drops without getting wet. Stopping to use social media might feel like jumping off a fast-moving train, but it's in the stillness that we can see things more clearly. When you take a break from technology for a while, remember what Seneca said and use that time to do things that will make you feel better, like reading, walking, writing in a notebook, or doing hobbies that make you feel good. You can get back in touch with yourself during this break. You can find your soul in silence, away from the noise of the crowd. Getting closer to your most basic wants is what the seventh step of the detachment path is all about. It's important to keep our attention on the core of who we are as we move forward on this road. This is what Stoicism is all about, focusing on what's important for our own growth and happiness. This means getting rid of the unnecessary, the noisy, and the unimportant in order to grow what really feeds the mind. In addition to financial wants, you should also focus on things like emotional support, moral purity, and personal growth. Think of your life as a garden. What are the most important things for your success? Find out what you need for your emotional and spiritual health, just like trees need water and sunshine. Epicurus, who was born and did well in hard times, knew very well how important it is to focus on what is important. His lessons tell us to tell the difference between what we need and what we don't. Epicurus said that having few needs is what makes someone truly wealthy, not having many things. Think about what you need to feel satisfied, stable, and at peace in your emotional life, and apply this philosophy to it. In a world full of options and things to do, remember that sometimes less is more. To be happy with both simplicity and depth, you have to think about what really makes you happy and at peace. In reality, This might entail setting aside time to think about what truly makes you happy, whether it's being alone, having meaningful talks, doing a skill, or doing other things that are good for your soul. Figure out what these basic needs are and put them in order of importance is like packing for a trip. Only bring what will make the trip more enjoyable. Detachment from useless things, such as people or circumstances that don't meet your basic wants, is made easier by this deliberate focus. By making these basic needs the heart of your life, you build a strong base for security and happiness. This is not a one-time thing that needs to be done. It is an ongoing process that keeps us focused on what really counts. As you go through life, keep going back to your basic wants and changing and adapting them as you change and grow. This focus is your guide. It helps you see clearly and with purpose through the complicated things that happen in life. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea that you should live, not just survive. Remember to leave a review if you like it, so that more people will interact with our content. Simply state the date and say, "Gratitude is the key." If you have nothing to say, let's go ahead. The 8th step, celebration of gratitude and the recognition of the present, is a very important turning point on the path to detachment. Here, we go into a lot of detail about the virtue of thanks, which is one of the most important ideas in Stoicism. At this stage, we take a close, thankful look at what we have now and try to find the blessings and important lessons that are hidden in each of our situations. Being grateful isn't just saying thank you for the good things in life. It also means being able to appreciate the lessons that come from hard times. It's possible to see the world and our own lives from a completely different angle when we practice gratitude. Problems can be turned into steps that help us grow as people and make our character stronger. This change in perspective makes us stop focusing on what we don't have and start deeply appreciating the good things we do have. We are better able to live in the present with awareness and fullness, which strengthens our emotional resilience when we consistently count our blessings, whether they are meaningful interactions, views of natural beauty, or quiet times of deep reflection. Practicing gratitude is like creating a beautiful fabric of life's events. Each thread of gratitude adds color and character to the big picture of our lives. To enjoy life in its fullness, this step tells us to see each event as an important chance to learn and grow as people. So, when we add thanks to our journey of detachment, we gain a greater link with the present moment and a deeper understanding of what life is all about. It feels like we're looking for an undiscovered gem, where the wealth is not only in the things we own, but also in the lessons we learn from our mistakes. I want you to be excited and interested in this 8th step because it holds the key to a better and more meaningful life. Step 9. Encourage people to be flexible and open to change. At this very important point in the path of detachment, we are asked to accept that everything changes and that the world around us is unpredictable. Things happen all the time in life, and some of them are out of our control. What we can control, though, is how we feel and what we do in answer to these things. In this situation, having a flexible mind isn't just a quiet way to deal with changes. It's also a way to actively respond. It means being ready to let go of old ideas and ties when we need to, and being brave enough to face the unknown. It's like sailing a rough river. We have to keep changing our path to follow the currents. We don't have to give up our ideals and beliefs. We just need to find new ways to use them in different scenarios. We can build emotional resilience through the practice of flexibility. We can avoid the struggle and pain that come with fighting what is going to happen by accepting that it is a normal part of life. We learn to adapt to our surroundings instead, turning problems into chances to grow. Furthermore, being flexible gives us the ability to see the good in even the worst conditions. This doesn't mean ignoring pain or problems. It means finding ways to grow as individuals through these situations. In the end, step 9 tells us to dance with life and accept its turns and changes with grace and humility. Like a trip, life is full of new discoveries, and our ability to change and learn is what helps us do well when things are unclear. In order to achieve detachment, we are setting ourselves up for a fuller, more meaningful and stronger life by making freedom a central concept. Empathy is being able to understand and share someone else's thoughts. In this step, we learn how to listen carefully, put ourselves in other people's shoes, and accept their feelings and points of view. By building relationships based on mutual understanding and support, this enables us to form more meaningful bonds with those around us. Sharing, on the other hand, means actively making other people happy and healthy. This can be done in many ways, from giving emotional support to helping with real-world tasks. Sharing not only makes other people's lives better, but it also makes our own sense of purpose and satisfaction stronger. Remembering that detachment does not mean cutting ties with human relationships. Rather, it means making them more meaningful. Sharing and having empathy are like links that help us bond with others in a real and deep way. By showing understanding and sharing, we make the world a kinder and more helpful place, which is in line with Stoic beliefs of virtue and kindness. Detachment does not make us uncaring. Rather, it makes us more aware and linked as people, allowing us to live a happy life. Step 11. Feed your mind and body. This is the 11th step on the road of detachment. It's time to take care of our mind and body. As we go through the complicated parts of life, this step is very important for keeping our emotional and physical balance. Mindfulness and self-reflection are the first steps in taking care of your mind. Being mindful means being in the present moment and noticing our feelings and thoughts without judging them. This helps us clear our minds and feel less stressed. During self-reflection, on the other hand, we can learn more about our thought and behavior habits and find ways to grow and get better. We also spend time reading, learning, and performing artistic skills to keep our minds healthy. In this way, we can learn new things, be more creative, and keep our minds open and interested. We know how important it is to take care of our bodies by living well, working out regularly, and getting enough rest. The body is how we experience the world, so taking care of it is an important part of living a healthy life. This step helps us remember that detachment is more than just getting rid of stress and problems. It's also about taking care of our physical and mental health. In line with Stoic ideals of virtue and knowledge, when we take care of our bodies and minds, we are better able to deal with the difficulties in life with resilience and calm. This step is a warning that taking care of yourself is an important part of the detachment road. The lessons of Stoicism provide us with a wealth of insightful information and useful advice when we start down the road of detachment, whether from problems, people, or situations. This philosophy, which dates back thousands of years, advises us to step back, think carefully about the causes of our detachment, have enlightening conversations, set limits for our emotional responses, and think about the results of our decisions. When we focus on our basic wants and stay away from constant outside effects like social media, our actions are in line with Stoic ideals. Stoicism, with its ancient wisdom, teaches us that detachment is not the same as emotional insensitivity. Rather, it is the way to inner peace and resilience as we deal with complicated human relationships and life's unpredictable changes and turns. We make meaningful relationships with others and find purpose and satisfaction by sharing, empathizing, and taking care of our minds and bodies. This makes the road of detachment a way to learn about yourself, grow, and go through a deep transformation. When we learn from Stoicism, We start on a road of freedom, where detachment doesn't lead to loneliness, but to a stronger relationship with ourselves and the world around us. Have they ever lied to you? You might want to give them another chance if you think they will change or make up for what they did wrong. No, you're not the only one this happens to. There are a lot of people who don't know whether to forgive and forget, or to cut ties and move on. How about if I told you there is a third choice? A way to handle these kinds of situations that is neither naive nor angry, but instead smart and good. This way is based on the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, which teaches us how to live a wise, brave, self-controlled, and fair life. The idea of Stoicism is not a religion, but a way to live a good life. The Stoics also said that we should accept what we can't change and focus on what we can. While we can't change how other people act, we can change how we act. The past is out of our hands, but the present is. While we can't change the result, we can change the way things are done. In this way, we can find inner peace and happiness no matter what is going on around us. Dealing with difficult people, especially those who have hurt us in some way, is one of the hardest things about life. What should we do about them? Are they worthy of another chance? In this video, I'll show you some good things we can learn from the Stoics about this subject. The Stoics taught us not to give people a second chance. Lesson 1. Controlling your feelings so you can make good decisions. The first and maybe most important thing we need to learn in order to grow as people and make good decisions is how to keep our emotions in check. People have emotions all the time. They add color to our lives with happiness, sadness, anger, and fear. However, when we are hurt or challenged, our first emotional responses are normal, but they can often lead us astray. Getting angry, sad, or even wanting to get even with the person who hurt us or let us down is a normal reaction. These feelings are real, but they can get in the way of our ability to see things clearly and objectively. You might make bad decisions if you act on these feelings without giving them much thought. This could make things worse. The ancient Stoic philosophers, who stressed self-control, discipline, and logic, have advice that will always be useful in this situation. They show us the value of emotional resilience as well as the perils of letting our emotions and impulses control us too much. An important Stoic philosopher named Epictetus said, "Don't let the force of an impression knock you off your feet when it first hits you. Just say to it, 'Hold on a moment. Let me see who you are and what you represent. Let me put you to the test.'" This powerful statement tells us to think about our feelings before acting on them. To use this lesson, we must first be aware of our feelings without judging them. An important part of understanding our emotional landscape is being able to see and accept what we feel. Next, we need to look at these feelings with a critical eye. How true are they to the situation, or are they too strong? If you feel these emotions, do they help you, or could they hurt you? We can handle situations better when we think about them and analyze them logically. If we know where our emotions come from and how true they are, we can choose whether to let them guide our actions or look for a more objective view. Also, we should think about the bigger picture and how our actions will affect people in the future. What do we hope will happen? What's the best thing to do that fits with our goals and values? It's also important to learn how to deal with strong emotions. For example, deep breathing, meditation, or doing physical activity could be used to help lessen the intensity of our feelings. Talking to a trusted friend or advisor about it can also give us a more objective view and help us see past our initial emotional response. One more thing to think about is having empathy and understanding how other people feel about the situation. A lack of understanding other points of view often leads to disagreements and arguments. By thinking about how other people feel and what they want, we can better navigate complicated social situations and come up with better, more peaceful solutions. In the end, Learning to keep our emotions from getting in the way of our decisions is a skill that needs ongoing practice and self-awareness. We gain the power to make decisions that are thoughtful, balanced, and in line with our deepest values and goals when we learn to stop, look at, and control our emotions. To master your emotions, you don't have to push them down or ignore them. Instead, you have to understand them and work them into a more balanced and logical way of living. We can make better decisions and have better relationships with others as we get better at this skill. This leads to a happier and more peaceful life. Second lesson: forgiving someone is not the same as making peace with them. Understanding the important difference between forgiving and making peace is the second thing we can learn to help us deal with our feelings and relationships. It's not always clear what the difference is, but understanding it can help people get along better with each other. Let go of bad emotions like resentment, anger, or the need for revenge against someone who has hurt us. This is an internal, personal process. We need to make peace with what happened for our own health, not always for the person who hurt us. When we forgive others, we free ourselves from the heavy weight of anger and bitterness that can hurt our mental and emotional health. The Stoics, who believed in inner peace and logical thinking, said that forgiving others was a good way to stay calm. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "The best way to calm down when you're angry is to wait." This wise advice means that we can approach the situation with a calmer, more collected mindset if we give ourselves time to process our emotions and reactions. This wait gives us a chance to look at the crime in a bigger picture, recognizing that the person who did it is human and can make mistakes, acting out of ignorance, weakness, or even malice. Forgiving someone does not, however, automatically mean that we should make peace with them. Getting back together with the person who hurt us and rebuilding trust is part of the external process of reconciliation. This process is much more complicated, and both sides need to put in time and effort. Honesty, mutual respect, and often a real apology and promise to change from the person who hurt you are all parts of this process. Recognizing that peace may not always be possible or wanted is important. Sometimes the harm we've been through is too great, or the person who hurt us doesn't want to change or show regret. They could keep putting our safety at risk or breaking our rules. In this case, reconciliation is not only not needed, it might even be bad. When thinking about reconciliation, it's important to think about what happened and how the relationship works now. Did the harm happen just once, or was it part of a pattern of behavior? Has the person truly admitted they were wrong and accepted responsibility for their actions? Is it likely that things will get better in the future? These are important questions that can help us make decisions. It's also important to set healthy limits and expectations for what reconciliation means. Going back to the way things were before or acting like the harm never happened is not what reconciliation means. It could mean setting new limits to make sure everyone stays safe and respects each other. Self-reflection is important, but it's also important to get advice from trusted friends, family, or professionals during this process. It's also important to trust our gut and follow our feelings. If something doesn't feel right, we should follow our gut and do what we need to do to stay safe. Finally, knowing the difference between forgiving and making peace with someone helps us deal with our relationships in a more clear and smart way. Forgiving someone can bring them peace and help them heal, but reconciliation takes careful thought and work from both sides. We can build real, respectful, and helpful relationships if we stick to our boundaries and values. 3. You have to earn trust, not just believe in something. The third thing you should learn about dealing with difficult people is that trust is earned, not given. Any good relationship starts with trust, whether it's with a friend, a romantic partner, a co-worker, or a family member. Over time, it's built by being honest, dependable, and having integrity. It's normal to wonder if someone deserves a second chance after they break our trust through lying, betrayal, or other bad actions. When it comes to relationships, the Stoics stressed how important trust was because they believed in virtue and moral integrity. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be that way." This wise saying reminds us that responding to betrayal with more lying or mistrust only makes things worse. Instead, we should always try to stick to our own morals and principles, even when things get tough. It's important to look at someone's past actions and track record when deciding if to give them a second chance. Have they shown they're sorry for what they did? Have they done something to fix the damage they caused? Are they ready to be open and responsible from now on? These are very important questions that can help us figure out if the person really wants to rebuild trust. It's also important to know that trust can't be instantly restored once it's been broken. Rebuilding trust takes time, consistency, and real effort from both sides. The person who broke the law needs to show through their words and actions that they can be trusted. For example, they might have to be open and honest about mistakes they've made in the past, say sorry, and take real steps to change how they act. The person who was hurt, on the other hand, must be ready to forgive and give the other person a chance to earn their trust back. This requires being open and ready to let go of anger and bitterness, which can be hard but freeing in the end. But it's important to be honest about what you expect and set limits while you're trying to rebuild trust. You shouldn't give someone your trust without seeing proof that they've changed, and you shouldn't take it away as a punishment for life. To fix a relationship and make it stronger, both people must be willing to talk about their problems and concerns openly and work together. In the end, trust is a valuable thing that needs to be cared for and kept safe. It can be kind and forgiving to give someone a second chance, but you should think about it carefully and make up your mind before you do it. We can build relationships based on trust, respect, and understanding if we hold each other and ourselves to high standards of honesty and responsibility. 4. Set clear limits and make sure people follow through on them. Setting clear limits and giving people consequences for bad behavior is the fourth thing you should learn about dealing with difficult people. When it comes to relationships, boundaries are important rules that tell people what is and isn't okay to do. They keep people safe, respectful, and emotionally healthy. However, it's important to stand up for ourselves and our standards when someone crosses these lines through manipulation, coercion, or disrespect. As people who valued self-respect and honesty, the Stoics stressed how important it was to set and stick to limits in all areas of life. Epictetus said in his famous guidebook, The Enchiridion, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it." This timeless wisdom reminds us that we can't always control what happens in the outside world or how other people act, but we can choose how we react and set limits. When someone crosses our boundaries, it's important to be assertive and make our needs and concerns clear. This could mean listing the exact behavior that isn't okay, explaining how it makes us feel, and making clear what will happen if it happens again. Setting limits takes courage and self-confidence because the other person might push back or resist. But staying strong in our beliefs is important for keeping our dignity and self-respect. Along with setting limits, it's also important to make sure that bad behavior has consequences. The purpose of consequences is to stop people from breaking the rules again and to stress how important it is to do so. Different types of consequences can happen depending on how bad the offense was and the type of relationship involved. Some of these are temporarily ending the relationship, putting limits on contact or interaction, or getting help or intervention from someone outside the relationship. Being consistent and firm about consequences is important, even if it causes trouble or discomfort in the short term. By sticking to our limits, we make it clear that our health and self-respect are important to us. We can now build relationships based on trust, honesty, and respect for each other. In conclusion, making clear rules and following through with them are important parts of keeping relationships healthy and happy. It might take courage and confidence to do what we need to do to protect our well-being and dignity. By being clear about our limits and holding others responsible for their actions, we build relationships based on respect, trust, and understanding. Fifth lesson: put your health and self-care first. Prioritizing self-care and well-being is the fifth lesson in dealing with difficult people. When we're going through trouble or conflict, it's easy to forget about our own needs and only focus on fixing the problem with other people. However, ignoring self-care can hurt our physical, mental, and emotional health, making it hard to deal with tough situations in a healthy way. The Stoics, who stressed the value of self-discipline and inner resilience, understood the importance of putting self-care first in order to keep calm and focused. In his famous work, Meditations, Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This deep insight reminds us that we can control our own thoughts, attitudes, and actions, even when we can't always change other people's behavior or the way things happen around us. When we put self-care first, we build up our inner resources and resilience, which makes it easier and more graceful to deal with life's challenges. Self-care includes a wide range of actions and routines that are good for your physical, mental, and emotional health. Regular exercise, enough rest, a healthy diet, mindfulness meditation, journaling, time spent in nature, hobbies, and support from friends, family, or professionals are some examples. These practices help replenish our energy reserves, reduce stress, and enhance our overall quality of life. In times of conflict or difficulty, self-care becomes even more critical as a means of self-preservation and resilience. It's important to listen to our bodies and thoughts and react kindly to our wants. This may involve taking breaks when feeling overwhelmed, practicing relaxation techniques to calm the nervous system, or engaging in activities that bring joy and fulfillment. Moreover, promoting self-care is not selfish, but important for our well-being and success in other areas of life. Just as we must put on our own oxygen masks before assisting others in an emergency, we must prioritize our self-care to be of service to others effectively. By attending to our own needs, we become better equipped to support and care for others with compassion and empathy. In conclusion, prioritizing self-care is essential for maintaining health, well-being, and resilience, especially in challenging or conflictual situations. By nurturing our physical, mental, and emotional health, we strengthen our capacity to cope with adversity and cultivate fulfilling relationships. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, true strength lies in mastering our own minds and taking proactive steps to care for ourselves, even in the midst of life's storms. Have you ever thought about what makes some people smarter and better at learning than others? Want to get the skills and information you need to do well in your personal and work life? You're in the right place if so. We'll look at how to be smarter than everyone else in this fun video. We'll look at techniques and tips that can help you learn better, understand better, and use what you know in your everyday life. This journey will give you the tools you need to make the most of your intelligence, which is a valuable asset that can improve every part of your life. So, if you want to reach your full brain potential and take on tasks with a clear head, please keep watching. We're going to look at these 10 keys together. They will help you become smarter and do better in any area you choose. Get ready for a trip that will help you learn more about yourself and grow intellectually. First, encourage people to be curious. To spark interest is to light the spark of intelligence. Think of your interest as a guide that leads you through huge amounts of information. By being curious all the time, you become someone who is always ready to find answers, which is one way to be smarter than other people. You are a college student, and you are learning about history in class. You have never heard of this subject in old history before your professor brought it up. There's no longer a silent way for you to take in the information from the teacher. You display interest during class. You inquire about what led to and resulted from events in this past. You wonder why people in the past behaved the way they did, and you even wonder how this event might have affected the world we live in now. You're still interested in more. You start reading more books and other things about this subject after class. To find out more about this old past, you look online and take part in online conversations. This will not only help you understand this subject better, but it will also help you see past and its relevance to our present lives in a bigger way. Your interest has led you to learn new things and broaden your views, which has made you smarter about how to understand and deal with the world around you. If you're interested, you'll ask why and how things work, instead of just taking them as they are. It makes you want to learn more, question what you think you know, and question what you believe without question. You are broadening your academic views with every question you ask and every new thing you learn. Curiosity helps us find out about the world's wonders, from the secrets of the universe to the mysteries of our own bodies and minds. But it's not just about gathering information, it's also about really knowing. Being curious helps you see beyond the obvious and make connections between things that don't seem to go together. So, how do you get more interested? First, look at the world around you as if it were brand new. Check things out and ask questions if you don't understand them. Open yourself up to new things all the time. Read books about a wide range of topics and learn about other countries. Remember that interest is what starts the fire of learning. You are already smarter than other people because you are taking care of it. Mindfulness meditation trains your mind to stay present and focused by letting you observe your thoughts without judging them and slowly bringing your attention back to your breath or a fixed point. It is possible to get better at focusing. 2. Make sure your goals are clear. Write down your goals and targets for every job or task. When you know what you want to achieve, you can stay focused on the most important things and avoid getting sidetracked. 3. Get rid of distractions. Figure out what kinds of things around you cause you to be distracted and do what you can to reduce their number. Some things that could help you do this are turning off messages on your devices, making a dedicated desk, or setting aside particular times to work. 4. Focus on doing one thing at a time. Doing more than one thing at once can make it harder to concentrate and get things done. Try single tasking instead, which means focused on just one thing at a time until it's done. 5. Do deep work. Author Cal Newport promoted the idea of deep work. It means focusing on things that need a lot of mental work and attention for long amounts of time without stopping. 6. Take breaks often. You need to be able to focus for a long time, but it's also good to give your mind breaks every so often. Taking short breaks can help you stay mentally sharp and avoid getting burned out. 7. Exercise. Studies have shown that regular exercise can help your brain work better and help you focus better. When you work out, your brain gets more blood and chemicals are released that help you concentrate. 8. Mindful eating and sleep. Getting enough sleep and food are important for focusing. A well-balanced food and enough rest can help your mind stay clear. 9. Focusing is a skill that needs time to develop, so be patient. Be kind to yourself and know that getting sidetracked and having random thoughts is a normal part of the process. Your ability to focus will get better as you use it more. 10. Keep an open mind. Being interested in the job at hand can help you focus. You are more likely to stay interested in a subject or job if you find it interesting. In conclusion, if you want to be smarter than everyone else, you need to work on your focus. Your overall cognitive abilities can be improved by practicing mindfulness, setting clear goals, getting rid of distractions, focusing on one task at a time, doing deep work, taking regular breaks, working out, eating well, getting enough sleep, being patient, and staying curious. So, focus on it every day, and you'll get the most out of learning and knowing things deeply. These are just 6 ways to get smarter than everyone else. You can reach your full intellectual potential and be successful in any field by being curious, reading a lot, keeping a growth mindset, learning from mistakes, keeping an open mind, and focusing. So, take these keys and start your journey to learn more about yourself and grow intellectually. You'll thank yourself in the future. Getting better at focusing is a great way to get smarter and stand out from other people. Working on this skill takes time and effort, but the benefits of being more productive, knowing things better, and being able to solve problems better make it well worth it. By getting better at focusing, you'll be ready to face the difficulties of life and take advantage of growth chances. The 7th tip is to be patient. Learning to be patient is an important part of becoming smarter and wiser in life. In a world where speed and immediate gratification are valued more than ever, patience is a quality that is often overlooked but very useful. Being patient means being able to wait calmly when things don't go as planned or when you face hurdles. It means you're ready to hold back the urge to act quickly or get angry when things don't go your way right away. This part of knowledge is important in many areas of life. You need to be patient with yourself in order to learn new information and skills. It takes time to learn, and you won't always see benefits right away. Knowing that it takes time to master something gives you the patience to keep learning. Impatience can result in quick choices and mistakes when trying to solve complicated problems. It often takes time and reflection. Being patient lets you think things through and weigh all of your choices before making a big choice. Patience is important for making and keeping good relationships because it helps you listen with empathy, see things from other people's points of view, and solve problems without responding quickly. A lot of important goals take time to reach. You need to be patient to stay focused and motivated over time. When you push yourself too hard, you can get tired and lose your drive. Unexpected problems happen all the time in life. Patience is the key to staying calm, adjusting to bad situations, and getting through tough times with resilience. Being patient is a key part of growing and getting better as a person. 2 important parts of being patient are realizing that change usually happens slowly and having fair goals. Being patient doesn't mean being lazy or smug. It means being persistent and determined even though you know that you can't control everything right now. If you learn to be patient, you can handle the problems in life with calm and collected behavior. This will help you make better choices and eventually become smarter and wiser than people who are impatient. 8th, make your goals clear. It is important to do this if you want to get smarter and be successful in many areas of your life. Being able to set clear goals and work toward them gives you direction, drive, and a sense of purpose. You give yourself something to focus on when you have clear goals. This helps you focus your energy and efforts in the best way possible so they don't go in different places. You become more focused on your goal and less likely to get sidetracked by other jobs or concerns. Setting clear goals also makes it easier to see how far you've come. By breaking your big goals down into smaller, more manageable steps, you can keep track of your progress and see where you might need to change how you're doing things. This way of keeping track of things makes you more responsible and helps you stay on track. Also, setting goals helps you decide which tasks are most important. When you have clear goals, you can figure out which jobs are the most important and how to spend your time and money properly. Time management and escaping the mistake of being constantly busy without making meaningful progress depend on this priority. Also, having clear goals makes you more motivated. Their presence gives you a reason to work hard, because reaching your goals often makes you feel fulfilled and happy. This good feedback makes you more likely to keep working hard and not give up, even when things go wrong. Another way to improve your problem-solving skills is to set clear goals. When you run into problems, having a clear goal helps you deal with them by letting you better evaluate the situation and find ways to get around them. As you start your job, picture yourself with the clear goal of becoming a leader in the engineering field. As part of your plans, you want to finish your bachelor's degree in engineering within 4 years, work for a top company in your field, and learn how to develop technical projects, make professional connections with co-workers and respected managers in the field, take classes and workshops to improve your technical knowledge and skills, and eventually become the leader of major projects. With these goals in mind, you've made a clear plan for your job path and given it a time range. Focusing on each step you need to take to reach your goals will help you make sure that all of your efforts are focused on the right things and not spread out. At this point in your work, this helps you move forward and shows how much you've learned in the area of engineering. In conclusion, making clear goals is like making a plan for your career and personal growth. It gives you focus, direction, responsibility, and drive, all of which help you grow, get smarter, and be more successful in general. Having a clear idea of what you want to achieve is a key part of getting smarter and reaching your goals, whether they are linked to your job, your schooling, your relationships, or your personal growth. So take the time to write down your goals and start the process of achieving them. 9th tip: ask things. Being able to ask good questions is an important skill that can help you become smarter and wiser. This skill is not only important for learning and understanding things, but it also has a big effect on your personal growth and success in life. You feed your natural interest and cultivate an open mindset when you get used to asking questions all the time. You're more open to new ideas, willing to question what you think you know, and willing to look into things differently. Having this mindset not only helps you learn new things all the time, but it also makes you more flexible and able to handle problems and sudden changes. You can also get better at looking at events and problems from different points of view by asking questions. You have to evaluate the information you have access to and make choices based on that information. This improves your critical thinking skills. By doing this, you can escape brain mistakes and bad decisions. Also, it's important to stress how asking questions can improve your personal and business relationships. It demonstrates real interest in other people's thoughts and experiences, which can improve the quality of your links and make conversation easier. Also, asking questions can be a very effective way to solve problems. Asking specific questions about a problem helps you break it down into doable pieces and come up with new ways to solve it. You stop being stressed and start solving problems on your own. In the end, asking questions over and over again will lead you to a road of constant learning and growth. As a result, you become more self-directed and self-aware, which helps you make better choices and live a more meaningful life. So don't be afraid to ask the next time yourself is in a position where you don't fully understand something or are having trouble. Remember that the first step to becoming smart and wise is to ask yourself, what would you like to learn and discover today? Imagine that you are working at work on a big project when a tough problem comes up. The project is moving along nicely, but you're having trouble keeping track of your time and resources. Instead of worrying and trying to solve everything on your own, you ask, how can I optimize my schedule to ensure the project is completed on time? Is there a way to share the workload more effectively with team members to improve their work performance? I need to seek input from other colleagues to see if they have any suggestions on how to handle this situation. This might give you new thoughts or different ways to solve the problem, which will help you do it faster. 10th, tell other people what you learn. One strong way to improve your brain and add to society's knowledge is to share what you learn. Not only is it about growing as a person, but it's also about getting other people to learn and do the same. It helps you understand something better when you share what you've learned. To teach or describe an idea to someone else, you need to order your thoughts and put them together in a way that makes sense. This process makes you understand things better and helps you remember them longer. As the saying goes, to teach is to learn twice. Sharing what you know with others can also lead to interesting conversations and the sharing of ideas. Talking to other people about what you've learned can help you understand it even better by giving you useful feedback and different points of view. This way of learning with others can lead to big discoveries and fresh ideas. Sharing what you know is also good for society. You make other people's lives better by helping them learn and grow. You might motivate them to follow their dreams or deal with problems. This feeling of making a difference can be very satisfying and keep you motivated to keep learning. Sharing your knowledge can also help you become known as an expert in your area. Speaking at events, writing papers or books, or even teaching can all be made possible by it. Being ready to share what you know can help you get ahead in your career and get noticed. Today's world is very linked, which makes it easier than ever to share what you know. You can do it on a lot of different venues, like blogs, social media, talks, or public speech. These channels give you the chance to reach many people and have an effect on people from various backgrounds. When you share, you're not trying to show off or get approval. You're sharing because you want to help other people learn and grow. Your readiness to share what you've learned can do a lot of good, whether you're breaking down a difficult idea, sharing life lessons, or giving useful tips. Sharing what you've learned is a great way to add to what you already know, have meaningful conversations, help other people, and maybe even move up in your job. This is an important part of always learning and growing as a person. So take the chance to share your knowledge with the world and see how it makes your life and the lives of those around you better. To sum up, waiting is a useful trait that makes you smarter and better generally. It gives you the strength to handle life's challenges with ease and resilience, which leads to personal development and a better knowledge of the world. As you work to become smarter and wiser, remember that patience will always be with you and help you reach your goals of more success and happiness. We've looked at 10 ways to get smarter than everyone else during this exciting journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Every one of these keys is a basic principle that can help us become smarter and more successful. We've learned that interest is what starts a fire of learning, that reading gives us access to the ideas of the best thinkers, and that having an open mind makes us better and helps us grow all the time. We've learned that focusing helps us get to the heart of things, that asking questions helps us understand the world around us better, and that making clear goals gives us direction and purpose. We now know that experience is the best teacher, and that teaching others not only makes us better, but also makes those around us better. We've accepted that a growth mindset is what will help us keep getting better, and we've also realized that waiting is the trait that will help us keep going and win. I went through a pretty hard time in my life for a while, working hard every day at a job that didn't make me happy. Besides having to deal with difficult co-workers and a rough relationship, I had to deal with a lot of different people telling me what to do and what not to do. I honestly felt pretty bad about everything, because I knew I was losing control of my life. I felt like I was in the middle of a never-ending hard fight every day. One of those days, I was browsing YouTube without a plan when I came across an interesting video called How Stoicism Can Transform Your Life. It was based on a book by modern philosopher Ryan Holiday. That's when I learned about Stoicism, which I'm very thankful for. Without planning to, I started to use its ideas in my daily life, learning the topic more and reading different books. That's when things changed in my life. I read more than a dozen books on the subject and became so interested in this philosophy that I chose to share it with other people. Anxiety and stress were transformed into inner peace and calmness. I was able to make decisions that were more in line with my morals and good qualities. The most important thing was that I started to see more value in each day. The next thing I want to do is talk about how Stoicism can change your lives. Let's look at what this philosophy is based on and how it can be used in the modern world. We'll also talk about how these ideas can help you face the task of making your life more meaningful again. I therefore invite you to stay with me until the end of this video if you are ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and transformation through Stoicism. It's going to be one of the most thought-provoking videos on this site. Let us begin my journey into Stoicism, which will be a light in the darkness of my life. By learning about the ideas of great Stoics like Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Zeno, I entered a world of very wise people. To put it simply, Stoicism is a way of thinking that focuses on developing morality, self-mastery, and understanding. Its main idea is that we can't change the things that happen in the outside world, but we can change how we react and see things. We now have a powerful tool to help us deal with the many problems we face in life. One important part of Stoicism is being able to tell the difference between what we can change, like our thoughts, actions, and decisions, and what we can't, like outside events and other people's points of view. Stoicism teaches us that we should focus our efforts on things we can change instead of things that can't be changed. However, this philosophy goes beyond just ideas. It gives us practical ways to live our daily lives that help us deal with stress, worry, and depression, make decisions, and find real, lasting happiness. In this video, we'll talk about Stoicism's main ideas and how they can be used in real life. We will talk about how important it is to follow our core values, such as morality, courage, acceptance, and acting in a way that is consistent with those values. This video has helpful lessons and ideas for people who have ever felt like life was too much, wondered how to find peace in the midst of chaos, or looked for ways to make their lives better. Being Stoic could be the key to a fresh start in your life and lead to a fuller, more meaningful existence. That being said, it's important to remember that this philosophy is only meant to help you. You are the one who needs to take action. You must also participate in this transformation. No philosophy can fully change you. Imagine that you could put your life back on track by pressing a button that would erase everything. Are you going to do it? Restarting doesn't always mean ignoring or forgetting the past. In fact, it's about learning from past mistakes and using that knowledge to make the future better and happier. Things that get in the way become the way, as Marcus Aurelius told us. He told you, take the next step. That's all you need to do. You can start over, but you have to find the right mix between learning from your mistakes and moving on with new hope. The way we respond to things shows how we see them. We defend ourselves when we think the world is dangerous, but if we treat it with care, our acts show that we love it. Stoicism tells us to question and change how we see life so that we can see truth clearly and objectively without letting our feelings get in the way. It was Seneca who said that we often suffer more in our minds than in real life. There are times when pain is caused by something that hasn't happened yet or only appears in our minds. What if we saw every problem as a chance to make things better? True Stoics don't see problems as fates. They see them as ways to make the spirit stronger. This could lead us to a new road that leads us even farther than we were before. They tell us that just as fire cleanses gold, hardship develops strong individuals, making us stronger and better every day. They urge us to see challenges as opportunities for growth. I believe in Stoicism because of this. Everything that happens to us can change who we are in the end. This is what's so great and important about Stoicism. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius didn't want the world to read his words. Instead, he wanted to share his inner thoughts and serve as a daily lesson to live a real and meaningful life. They show that the way we talk to ourselves is very important to our lives. So, we need to be friends with ourselves. I'm not saying we don't need friends, but I am saying that we should value our own presence wherever we are and be happy with ourselves, no matter who else is around. Dependence on the happiness of others can be the worst trap. Everything changes, including happiness, pain, success, and loss. Stoicism tells us to live with detachment, appreciating important times but always ready to let them go. Epictetus tells us that everything costs something. Pick what you value and be ready to give up the rest. The path of a Stoic is not easy, but it is very fulfilling. It teaches us to love ourselves, get stronger when things get hard, and live with a reason. It can be hard to deal with disrespect or other difficult situations without speaking up, but it's necessary for a happy life. Stoicism stresses how important it is to live in balance with both the outside world and our own inner selves. Ask yourself, am I acting based on my true desires and morals, or am I just reacting to what other people want me to do? Remember that our thoughts shape our lives and that we are always changing. A lot of the time, we forget who we really are when we try to please other people. Stoicism tells us to know our own worth, regardless of what other people think. In other words, the key to becoming a new you is yourself, as Epictetus put it. True freedom is not being subdued to the will of others. Accepting doesn't mean giving up your job. It means seeing things as they really are and responding wisely. Acceptance means being aware of the things we can't change, but still being able to choose how to respond to them. Figuring out how to deal with truth is what it's all about. We learn to dance in the rain instead of waiting for the storm to end. We only really have the present moment. In the present, the past is a memory, and the future is an unknown. Right now is where real power is. We can't enjoy the present because we're too busy thinking about the past or worrying about the future. This keeps us stuck in a negative loop. The Stoics didn't just talk about their philosophy. They tried to get better, learn new things, and grow every day. What do we want to leave behind? Stoicism teaches that what we do, not what we say, is what leaves a mark on the world. We don't measure life by how many breaths we take, but by the times that make us gasp for air. People often try to take advantage of us, so it's important to remember the power of silence, both inside and outside of ourselves. It's in silence that we get clear, find our purpose, and connect with ourselves more deeply. We can think, relax, and focus on what's important in this place. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it, Epictetus said. This helps us understand that letting go of what's holding us back, like an old grudge or an inaccurate view of who we are, is often the key to going forward. Stoicism gives us the freedom to reach our full potential. The happiness we feel depends on the quality of our thoughts. Valuing virtue, which is the good that shows up in our deeds, more than money, power, or fame, means being honest, kind, and trustworthy. We need to think about what traits we are working on while we are on our journey. We shouldn't ignore the problems that come up in life. Zeno of Citium says, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it on trivialities." Stoicism teaches us that what matters is not what happens to us, but how we deal with it. Not important things should waste your time. Always try to change, because that's how a new you can come along. You shouldn't miss this chance if you're loving it. Get the ebook Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges right now to improve your relationships, get more money, and become more prosperous. Link in the reply that was saved. Every problem you face is a chance to learn, grow, and get stronger. When we were younger, the future seemed like it could go in any direction. As Epictetus said, in life, it's not about avoiding wounds, but not surrendering to them. Now, why does it feel like nothing works? It can be a turning point to look back at your actions and figure out what worked and what didn't. On my trip, though, as it does on many others, a cloud fell on me. Alcohol, which used to be a once-in-a-while escape from the chaos of the world, became a daily necessity. It made the days and nights darker for me. I found myself drinking every day and hanging out with shallow friends who only cared about drinks. Without drinks, there were no relationships or bonds. It became hard to find happiness, and the relationships I cared about started to fall apart. When I was at the bottom of this cycle of self-destruction, the video about Stoicism that I talked about at the beginning of this text showed me this philosophy for the first time. That's when I understood what Stoicism is really about. That video marked the start of a new phase in my life. I decided to change who I am and accept Stoicism as my life philosophy. This writing is meant to be the start of your new life. Let's start a fresh start right now. Seneca talked about how unchecked emotions can lock us up. This made me think about my own self-imposed jail and how my drinking took over my life. I started my path to sobriety after reading the writings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and other Stoic thinkers. I discovered the value of self-control, resilience in the face of hardship, and the realization that while we can't control everything that happens to us or what other people say, we can control how we react to these things so that they don't affect us. 2 or 3 years after this turning point, I have left the old version of myself behind. I'm thankful every day that I learned about Stoicism at that important time. I chose to change and be different, so I went 2 years without drinking a drop. That was 4 months ago. How long are you going to wait to change? This philosophy helped me find a real sense of freedom, value life, and be strong when things get hard. My life is no longer run by alcohol. I am now in charge of my own focus and mission. Now it's my job to teach you all of these things. Stoic lessons have been a light in the darkest and hardest hours, even though the road hasn't been easy. These ideas will help you learn new skills and start using life-changing practices every day. They will help you start over and have a clear, focused future if you use them from today, or rather, right now. Morning meditation. Time. Set aside a few minutes every morning to relax. Think about what happened the day before and picture how you want today to go. This will help you mentally get ready for challenges and stay calm when things get tough. Gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 things you're thankful for. This helps you see the good in things and enjoy the little things in life. Regular physical activity. Do regular physical activity. A healthy body was important to the Stoics. You can stay healthy by walking, running, doing yoga, or anything else you enjoy. Principle of control. When you're facing problems, remember the Stoic principle that says you should know what you can control and what you can't. Then, make smart choices and accept what you can't change with calm. Self-control. Work on being more self-controlled when it comes to eating, money, and time. Make goals that you can actually reach and keep working toward them. Nightly self-assessment. Think about what you did during the day before going to sleep. Check your actions to see if they were in line with your beliefs and the Stoic way of life. If they weren't, look for ways to improve and make plans. Learning from inspiring examples. Read books or stories about people like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, who lived by Stoic ideals, and learn from their experiences. Detachment from other people's opinions. Don't worry too much about what other people think. Do your best to follow your own morals and beliefs. Awareness of life's transience. Remember that death is inevitable and use that fact to drive you to value life and make smart choices. Spend time learning new skills or getting better at the ones you already have. In Stoicism, growing as a person is important because it gives you more confidence to face obstacles. Accepting what you can't change. Know that what happens to you won't hurt you unless you let it. Accepting what you can't change makes you less stressed. Value authenticity in relationships. Look for relationships based on values that are real and good for both people. Reading philosophical texts every day. Make a promise to read philosophical texts or works by Stoic writers every day and think about how they can apply to your life. Thoughts on death. Take some time to think about your own death. This will help you put your daily worries in perspective and appreciate the time you have. Developing positive self-respect. Instead of judging yourself for things you can't change, deal with problems with self-compassion and drive. Altruism and community involvement. To feel more meaning and satisfaction, look for ways to help others without asking anything in return. Remember that Stoicism takes practice all the time and doesn't promise instant results. But if you stick with it, these habits can change your life and mindset over time. When things go wrong, remember that the obstacle is the way. Use problems to learn and grow, keep your wants and feelings in check, and develop emotional self-discipline. For your mental and emotional health, learn to empathize, control your bad urges, and set healthy limits. Stoicism offers a potent way for personal transformation. In conclusion, from this old philosophy, we've talked about a number of daily routines that can help you develop self-discipline, resilience, and peace in your daily life. It is important to write down everything important in this book, as this will help you grow. Some of the practices are morning meditation, kindness, and helping others. These give people the tools they need to deal with problems calmly and clearly, but the important thing is to act. Marcus Aurelius said, "Take the first step." It's not enough to know these ideas, you need to use them every day. Begin right now. Pick one or more of these habits and watch how your outlook and health change over time. As we conclude our exploration into the Stoic approach to becoming a better person, it's clear that the journey is both profound and enduring. Stoicism doesn't just provide a set of rules to follow. It offers a way of life that encourages us to reflect deeply on our values, actions, and the impact we have on the world around us. The path to goodness, as outlined by Stoicism, is paved with self-awareness, discipline, and a commitment to living virtuously in every moment. Remember, the quest to be a good person is a continuous process of learning and growth. It involves embracing challenges as opportunities for development, practicing gratitude for what we have, and extending kindness and understanding to others. By applying Stoic principles, we equip ourselves with the tools to remain steadfast and serene in the face of life's inevitable ups and downs. Let this exploration serve as a foundation upon which you can build a richer, more meaningful life. May you carry forward the wisdom of Stoicism, applying its teachings to cultivate virtue, resilience, and peace within. As you move forward, keep in mind that being a good person is not just about how we act, but who we are at our core. Continue to strive for excellence in character, and let your journey towards goodness enrich not only your own life, but also the lives of those around you.